Hello everyone, and yes, today is the day. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary of Triple Crown Racing. Let's get into it. So I thought in this video that I would take the time to look back on the past year, go over some stuff that I have coming up and what the future of the channel is, and also to thank a few people, well actually to thank a lot of people. There are so many people I need to thank, and I'll get to that in a moment. So let's have a look back at the history then. I've always enjoyed using YouTube pretty much almost since I can remember really. Not when I was an infant. I don't think I was exposed to screens that much. But anyway, whatever the case, I discovered YouTube as a platform when I was 8 years old, and the first videos that I watched on YouTube were Scooby-Doo or something, because I was into that then. However, over the next few years, I got more into car culture and eventually into motorsport. I started out watching guys like TMF Marduk, Into the Barrier, Arava, and X-Matty G. So all of the OG guys. Bear in mind, I was a bit of a Formula 1 normie back then, so you'll have to bear with me. And by the way, on the subject of X-Matty G, miss me with that WTF1 rubbish. Where's our kitchen, WTF1? We want a kitchen! We want a kitchen! Anyway, later on, I got more into guys like David Land, and I also started listening to Radio Le Mans a bit, so I've taken a lot of inspiration from then. One day, I had an idea. I enjoyed talking about motorsports so much that perhaps, maybe, I could make my own YouTube channel out of it. So, on the week of June the 10th, I decided to write a script for a new show. This show would be differentiated by the fact that it wouldn't just cover mainstream stuff like Formula 1, it would also cover series like IMSA, IndyCar, and the World Endurance Championship. And so, the show that this channel is most famous for was born. Motorsport Recently. I spent the week writing the script and preparing for the weekend. That weekend, I would then spend a very rainy afternoon designing a logo, which you should see on screen now, so I thought I was a good graphic designer. Apparently not, so probably shouldn't go into that field then. So anyway, I spent the week designing that logo and putting together a 15-minute episode. This episode was published on June the 12th, so I recorded it on June the 10th, and it was published on the 12th, so it was a big file. That's just down to the fact that it was a big file. On the day of Le Mans qualifying, I made my very first post on Instagram for Triple Crown Racing, and Instagram has proven to be a very important asset for this brand. And over the next coming weeks, I improved my craft, I changed the format slightly to include my face at the time, which is the first time I've had my face in a video for a while. If you remember back then though, I had my big helicopter pilot headset. I have something a little bit more refined now, as you can see. Around this time, I also created Racers Alliance. Now, Racers Alliance is a group on Instagram that I created along with a few other pages as well that is designed to promote other motorsport pages. This includes anything from racing leagues, racing drivers, and news pages, and other members of the motorsport community. So people who've been involved in that, we all work to promote each other, and it has worked out rather well, I'd say. And the collaboration between other pages has proven for the TCR brand to be very important, and it has contributed to the expansion of this brand. I can't thank Racers Alliance enough for all of their help. They've been so important to this particular brand. The first ever sim racing video I showcased was a GT3 race at Spa in the old ASR series. I have been league racing for nearly 2 years now, so I started league racing around July 2017 with a Forza Formula E league, and then I started to move more into Project Cars 2 and stuff. I've dabbled my toe in the Forza 7 league racing community, although I just haven't enjoyed it as much. and also the servers are quite unstable, which really isn't good for somebody who lives in Australia. I'm very passionate about sim racing, and I'm glad that I have a platform to showcase my exploits with. I also can't thank the guys Enough Racing and the OzNZ Combined Racing League enough for having me and providing some great racing action to showcase on screen. Then in October of 2018, an event happened that would change this channel forever. Petite Le Mans. I hosted a stream with two very important people, and those people are Chris Whitfield and Caitlin Penny. We commentated the race, and while it didn't go exactly to plan, which, mind you, lots of my streams don't really go to plan, part 1 of that race broadcast still remains one of TCR's most popular videos to date. Chris and Caitlin have become two of my greatest online friends, and that particular broadcast allowed us to build up chemistry with each other, which would prove very important later on down the track. On the 25th of September, I would release the final episode of Motorsport Recently in its old format. I decided that it was becoming too hard and too stressful of a project to take on by myself. Up to that point, I had written, recorded, edited, uploaded, and promoted every episode by myself. I was putting so much effort into those videos, and it was getting a bit too much just to take on by myself. Plus, David Land had just started a format that was very similar to mine, and there's no way I could possibly have competed with that format and David Land doing that format. So I just kind of thought, what's the point? Let's try something new. So with Finnick Arrow's suggestion, who I'll get to in a minute actually, because he's been really, really important, I decided to go down a new path, podcasting. Finnick Arrow is one of the pages I found through Racers Alliance. I'll leave a link to his page in the description below. He does some absolutely spectacular graphics, and he and I became very good friends. He suggested that I do a podcast in accompaniment with his graphics. I decided to enlist the help of Chris and Caitlin to help write and present, and this would prove to be a legendary combination. Chris, Caitlin, and I established ourselves as a lineup one last time during the Daytona 24-hour pre-race show, and on the 16th of February, Motorsport Recently was rebooted in its podcast form. This show is still going on, and every week, Finnick Arrow works on the graphics, Freya Edwards and SRA Smoking Puppy help write articles, and Chris, Caitlin, and I present. It has been an absolute blast making the show. So actually, on my script now, I've decided to do this last part impromptu, which now that I think about it, probably wasn't the greatest idea. It says here on my script, thank people and say something heartfelt, and announced your 2 new series coming out. So I have people to thank. First of all, I would like to thank all of the people working on Motorsport Recently. I'd like to thank Chris, Caitlin, Finnick Arrow, SRA Smoking Puppy, and Freya for putting up with all my crap and working on this show tirelessly and turning up at the same time every week and being as committed to this show as I am. I can't thank you enough. You guys are so important to the production of that show, and it's something that I've really, really enjoyed doing with you guys. Thank you again to the OzNZ drivers for accepting me into your league and giving me a challenge every single week out on track with my own sim racing stuff. That's some stuff I also really enjoy doing as well. I also want to thank everyone in the motorsport community and everyone who's been involved with the Triple Crown Racing channel, whether you're watching or you're actually getting involved with the videos. I can't thank you enough for sticking with me this past year and adding to my subscriber count. You've stuck with me through 70 videos, 71 if you include this, 402 posts, I believe, at the time of recording this video, and that you've amassed to 104 subscribers and 400 followers on Instagram. So our little racing empire is becoming more and more prominent, and I can't thank you enough for coming along for the ride. So everyone involved, like, if I haven't mentioned you, it's not that I don't think you're important. The list of people to thank would be extremely long. So everything I'm saying now, it applies to you. It applies to everyone who's been a part of this community, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on my Discord server. I just can't thank you enough for being part of this journey. And this is only the first year. And there is more and more content to come. So we'll still keep getting your Motorsport Recently episodes out every single week. And I have a couple of new series coming out. So when F1 2019 comes out, my plan is to do an F1 career where you guys can influence my career choices. I'll put up polls pretty much when it comes to contract decisions and the like. And I think that should be a really, really interesting series. Actually, message me on Instagram if you want to have an influence on which Formula 2 team I go with. Currently, Carlin is in the lead for that, by the way. And we also have a very interesting concept that hopefully I'll get around to making in the next few weeks. Now, I have been quite busy, and I'm not entirely sure when this is coming. I'll do my best to get it out relatively soon. This is an idea that Caitlin came up with. It's called Game Show Grand Prix, and it is a racing game show, which once I put it together, I'll upload to YouTube, and we can... Well, it should be pretty good, and there's the potential of that becoming a series if it's well received. So that's the immediate future of my channel. I do have a lot of content backed up that I'd like to get out to you as well. So the future of this channel is looking very, very promising. So, and it probably seems like I'm rambling at this point, but thank you to everyone who's been involved with this. This means so much to me. I absolutely love doing YouTube, and I hope that this little racing empire can become something even more prominent, something bigger, and it's absolutely spectacular. So I'll try and not ramble any longer, but thank you for being along for the ride. Like, subscribe. Thank you for being along for the ride again. I've said that so many times. You know what? Let's just end the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.